the ether. Star drifters, can you feel that? One love can make us all believers. We'll paint the sky with our energy, so they can see us from outer space. Through the dark we will radiate. They're gonna see us from outer space.
Untraveled family, what is going on? It is a beautiful Sunday afternoon up here in the Malibu canyons in Southern California, down here in the Los Angeles area. I was here for 4 days, shooting a bunch of films for the channel, kind of to kick off the spring and summer season here at Roads Untraveled. And of course, Grayson was down in South America. So here we are in the Renick Performance 500 horsepower ATS-V. Obviously, it's got the 3.5 liter twin turbo V6, and this thing is a riot up here in the canyons. Obviously, there's been a lot of flooding recently down here. Less than ideal conditions, but honestly, this car handles it great, and the traction control system, right now we've got it in dynamic mode. We've got it in wet mode, so traction control is allowing for a limited amount of slip, but doing a great job at keeping the rear end and the front end in check in these muddy conditions, kind of loose surface conditions. Yes, this car is an automatic, all right? So that's kind of the first thing you notice when you jump in. Man, I wish there was a 6-speed, and I know I filmed a few cars like this where it's like, oh, you know, I really wish I was rev matching and really getting involved like that. But you know what? It is what it is. I'm in drive right now. I started it off in drive so you guys can see kind of when I get into these corners here in a sec how much of a difference it makes when it's in automatic. Jeez. You get into boost for like a second and then you've got to brake for the next corner. Not complaining, but there we go. About 14 PSI from those two twin turbos. Renick Performance has put on there. Stock twin turbos, but it's got a full exhaust system. It's got a tune. It's got a few other suspension components, coilovers, sway bars. As you can see, the aero on it as well. Aftermarket wheels, tires. But let me tell you something, you guys. Let me tell you, Malibu Canyons. Right now we are on Latigo Canyon Road. Thank you, Alex from Hustle Garage, good friend of the show, for giving me this road suggestion before we came here. I know Matt Farah has shot a number of one takes on this road, and I know good friend of the show as well, Russ with the V6 MR2. He's come up here before when he's down in Southern California. You can't beat these roads. You absolutely cannot. And this ATS-V, let me tell you something, perfect size for these roads, absolutely.
Yeah, boy.
It's a lot of fun. 520 horsepower on this canyon road. Latigo Canyon Road is like, it's a lot of power. We're barely getting into boost, and when we do, I mean, it's quick, but braking zones are super sketchy because you've got so much mud and rocks from the landslides down here. First impressions, you know, the interior. Cadillacs come a very long way in the interior. You've got some nice Alcantara on the steering wheel, which presumably after like a few thousand miles is gonna start wearing out, unfortunately, but that's what happens. Two things that really disappoint me on the ATS-V's interior. First off, this gloss black on the center console, that's got to go. There's a lot, you get smudge marks on it. It's just, it doesn't look particularly awesome. Maybe 10 years ago, but not a fan. Same with on the steering wheel. There's lots of buttons, which is not a problem. The steering wheel itself is good, but lots of buttons on the steering wheel and they get smudged up as well. The tack should be in the center of the gauge cluster, in my opinion. Either that or this car should have came with the heads-up display that both the C7 Z06 has and the new CTS-V has. that would make things a lot easier. But other than that, the interior is good. Seats, these Recaros are fantastic. You've got adjustable bolstering and all sorts of adjustments, so you can get it exactly to your preferences. All right, you guys, so we're gonna try out manual mode. As you can see, big delays on the shift immediately. It's really disappointing. I mean, the ATS-V on its own is a it's a really good performance bargain. There's no question there. The amount of power you get, the amount of tunability with these new turbo engines is really good. But in terms of transmission, I mean, GM is just really lagging behind anything that, you know, Porsche is putting out. Even AMG now. AMG has improved immensely from where the C63 was a generation ago. Other than that, though, if you keep it in drive, like I said, it will hold the revs really nicely. It'll do crisp downshifts. Wow, that's fast. Really good stuff, though, seriously. First off, when you've got the windows down, the amount of turbo spool you get from these stock turbos and an open exhaust is really something else. It actually, you get some turbo noise, you get some really good blow-off noise, and you do get a lot of rushing air, which is good due to the intakes there. Wow, that is a big landslide there. Trying to avoid some intense stuff up here. So much fun, though. I love it down here in California. I'm so glad I came down here. Thank you so much to James and the guys over at Renick Performance for tossing me the keys to this fantastic ATS-V. The chassis feels awesome. Honestly, GM has come an insane, they've covered crazy amount of distance when it comes to, I mean, their chassis, their engines. It's crazy. Their engineers are doing something right. They're doing a lot of things right nowadays, and you can certainly feel that in the chassis. Steering is, it feels really good, super tight. It's got different modes. James says that with the tires and the lightweight wheels, less unsprung weight, that steering actually in track mode has gotten a little bit lighter. It's almost kind of where sport mode was in terms of steering weight when the car was stock, right? Still, it does feel really awesome. You can feel everything in the road. So we've got traction in wet mode right now, so it basically deals with loose surface. Honestly, it's handling it really well. It's not one of those systems where it's just gonna, you know, cut power immediately and not let you have fun. It's gonna be like, no, we wanna actually play, okay? We wanna have some fun, and the ATS-V will definitely play with you. And it will do it so progressively, you honestly won't really notice it come in whatsoever. When the rear end's starting to slip out, you're good to go. Guys, these roads are crazy. This is insane. There's no driveways, there's no houses. It's just, it seems like it's just a road for the sake of having an awesome driving road. The person who, I mean, this road's designed by the environment, and let me tell you, this is unbelievable. Thank you, California, for having awesome roads. The power is really good too. This car is not slow at all. I don't know what it runs the quarter mile in, but it's got over 500 horsepower at the wheels, and the turbos spool up at a decent rate, but they still give you that amount of nice turbo lag, a little bit of turbo lag, so it feels exciting. You get that really intense torque punch from the turbos. All around, it's a great car to drive, really good chassis. All right, so the coilovers and stuff that James Renick has put on this car, as coilovers, they feel pretty compliant. They feel really awesome, planted to the road. Again, I have not driven an ATS-V though in stock form. That is very much key here. I have not experienced GM's new Magna Ride, their suspension system, which everybody is raving about, you know, really soft and controllable on the street, while having all the composure and stuff you would want on a track. I cannot compare this to that because I haven't driven both, right? But as a coilover system on its own, it really is doing a fantastic job. The car is planted as can be. The car's very loud too. I wouldn't call this the best sounding 6-cylinder I've ever experienced. It does the job though, it's good, it's loud. Higher RPMs definitely sound better than lower RPMs. It's got a nice kind of growl to it. It's very raspy. Now James says he is going to be putting a slightly quieter muffler system on this, which I will not oppose at all, but all in all, I mean, this car is great. This car is awesome.
Alright, so my first time driving the Malibu Canyons was breathtaking. Automatic transmission aside, this ATS-V is exactly the car I wanted to be driving up here. It's got an immense amount of grip, loves to change directions quickly, and there's enough power on tap to spike your adrenaline for the rest of the day. There's no doubt that this chassis could take another 100 horsepower without losing its drivability on the street. So, if you haven't already, subscribe to my vlog channel to follow the rest of my adventures here in California, and check out our weekly podcast on iTunes or Shout Engine. See you guys soon.